In a league obsessed with pace, power and pressing, one man stood still, literally. While others ran themselves into the ground, Dimitar Berbatov barely broke a sweat. He didn't sprint, didn't tackle, didn't track back, and yet he dismantled Premier League defenses with ease. Berbatov didn't care for chaos, he preferred poetry. In an era defined by speed, he brought stillness. In a world of blood and thunder, he gave us ballet and boots. This is the story of Dimitar Berbatov, the man who refused to run and yet conquered the world's fastest league with nothing but pure footballing genius.
From the early 2000s to the 2010s, English football was all about intensity, speed, power, relentless energy. Arsène Wenger revolutionized nutrition and athleticism. Mourinho turned Chelsea into a counter-attacking machine, and Sir Alex Ferguson unleashed wingers like Cristiano Ronaldo at full throttle. Names like Thierry Henry, Michael Owen, Fernando Torres and Gareth Bale terrified defenders with raw acceleration. Pace wasn't just a weapon, it was expected. Then came Berbatov, strolling into this whirlwind of footballing ferocity like he'd just stepped out of a Parisian cafe, cigarette in one hand, effortless touch in the other. He refused to conform, and yet his impact was undeniable. At a time when off-the-ball movement was preached like gospel, Berbatov barely moved, but when he did, he made defenders dance, often without even lifting a leg. To understand how bold and brilliant that was, we need to go back to where it all began. Dimitar Berbatov was born in Blagoevgrad, Bulgaria in 1981. From an early age, it was clear he was different. While most kids chased the ball, Berbatov caressed it. He admired Marco van Basten, a striker known not for hustle, but for grace. After breaking through at CSKA Sofia, he was spotted by Bayer Leverkusen. Germany is where his artistry blossomed. He wasn't just scoring goals, he was sculpting them. Even Bundesliga defenders, famed for discipline and grit, couldn't handle his touch and timing. In 2006, Tottenham Hotspur paid £10.9 million for him, a record fee. It didn't take long for fans to realise they were witnessing something special. In his debut Premier League season, he scored 12 league goals and assisted several more. But it wasn't about the numbers, it was the way he played. His first touch was legendary, his movement, or lack thereof, hypnotic. Defenders stepped up, only to be undone by a flick, a pirouette. Berbatov wasn't fast, but his brain was. He made time slow down, for himself and for those watching, and soon the biggest club in England came calling. In 2008, Sir Alex Ferguson signed him for £30.75 million. United already had Rooney, Tevez and Ronaldo, players defined by relentless energy. Berbatov, by contrast, was unhurried, unbothered, unorthodox. But Ferguson saw what others missed. Berbatov could do things no one else could. He could control a 40-yard pass with a single touch, operate in tight spaces and influence games without ever needing top speed. His first season brought 14 goals, including a memorable assist against West Ham, where he dragged the ball back with the sole of his boot before laying it off perfectly. But it was the 2010-11 season where Berbatov truly left his mark. With Ronaldo gone and Tevez at City, it was Berbatov's moment to lead, and he delivered. 20 league goals, a shared golden boot, and a hat-trick against Liverpool that included an iconic overhead kick at Old Trafford. He wasn't just scoring, he was carrying United through tough fixtures. A brace against Sunderland, a winner versus Bolton, and performances that screamed class. Critics called him lazy, but his stats told a different story. More goal involvements than Rooney, better link-up play, superior pass accuracy. Still, he was never fully appreciated, but those who truly watched understood. Why was Berbatov misunderstood? Because he didn't pretend, he didn't chase every ball, and he didn't feign hustle. He moved only when it mattered. Every touch had a purpose. Every pass, a dagger. He brought emotional intelligence to the game. While others panicked in the box, he paused, and in that pause, defenders collapsed. He once said, "You need to be calm like you're in slow motion. That's how you see things better." A perfect example, his third goal against Blackburn in 2010. Starting near his own box, he found Nani with the outside of his boot, then glided into position to finish the move. He later called it art. Berbatov didn't just play football, he reimagined it. By 2012, Berbatov was out of favour at United. Ferguson wanted more energy, so Berbatov quietly moved to Fulham. And once again, he He elevated a team with his presence alone. In his debut season, he scored 15 goals. Fulham fans adored him. He was their conductor, the player who made the impossible look effortless. Even as his legs slowed, his mind remained razor sharp. He once described himself as playing chess while others played checkers. It wasn't arrogance, it was reality. Later, he played for Monaco, Park and Kerala Blasters. The magic flickered, but he never chased stats or legacy. He simply played his way. When he retired, there was no farewell tour. He just faded away, like smoke. But his influence, still very much alive. In an age dominated by analytics and intensity, Berbatov reminded us that football is, at its core, an art. 229 appearances, 94 goals, 38 assists. But numbers alone don't capture his essence. He was the antidote to chaos, the proof that football didn't need to be frantic to be effective. At Spurs, he became a cult hero. At United, he won 2 Premier League titles and a Golden Boot. At Fulham, he mesmerised fans in a struggling side. Across all 3 clubs, he left a trail of nutmegs, no-look passes and defenders frozen in time. He challenged the Premier League's obsession with effort. He made stillness an asset. He inspired players like Mesut Ozil and Riyad Mahrez, those who glided rather than sprinted. Most of all, he gave fans a different kind of joy. Not the roar of a crunching tackle, but the quiet gasp when he made 3 defenders vanish with a pirouette. Berbatov was football's jazz musician, improvising, flowing, always cool. For those who truly watched, he'll never be forgotten. In a league that worships intensity, Berbatov was the heretic, the still point in a turning world. He didn't run, didn't press, didn't care what people thought. And yet, he conquered. He proved intelligence can outshine intensity. That class is permanent, even while standing still. So next time someone says you have to run to succeed in the Premier League, remind them of the man who barely moved and still made everyone else look foolish. Dimitar Berbatov didn't just play football, he performed it. And in doing so, he left behind a legacy as rare as it is beautiful. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.